Thank you for being home. Ooh, I don't know which thing I'm on now. It's really, I think. Let's go to this one. Guess what? It's the new year, and I'm back. And apparently I've gone live because my phone's just told me. So, and Cara's just confirmed it. We are doing something I swore I would never ever do again. I'm going to do some crochet. I've been making this poncho for a friend for her birthday, which was in August, I think. And then there's a hat to go with it. I'll put up it's a free pattern. I'll put it up on Facebook afterwards. Okay. I can't remember what it was called, but I should be able to find it. There's nothing on there. It's just a free crochet. But this stitch is herringbone stitch, and it's a real methodical. I mean, you do all herringbone, and then you go and do a lacy, okay, at the bottom, and then at the sides. So it's a really nice, easy stitch. So we're going to do that anyway. Happy New Year! How is everybody? I'm going to have a look at this. Ooh, look at all those people! Yeah, poncho is amazing. I think if I was to make it for me, I would make it this bit a bit longer. But it got to the stage where I was hoping to go and see her in my break. So I needed to finish it, and I still haven't seen her. So it will have buttons here, just for, you know, poshness. And then the hat is going to have, I'll put lace on it as well, so that when it's turned up, it'll have the lace bit on there. But the hat's working out like a good size, so I'll put that link up as well. It was just an easy thing. So I'm just going to show you how to do the herringbone, and then we're going to follow the pattern to do the lacy, because I don't remember how to do that. So how is everybody? Oh, these colours. Oh, I'll show you the thing. It's a king cole, and it's called Harvest, and it's a double knit. And I've actually done it on a 6. It says a double knit on a 6, and I was thinking, why does it do that? But I've used a chunky with a 6, and it's quite stiff, whereas using the double knit with a 6, it's gone nice and floppy and fluid. Okay, so we're going to start from there. I don't know whether you can see this, I had this for Christmas from Linda. When they came into the shop, I went, oh, I want one of those. Now, I've always been one for a chunky handle, but I find they go a bit tacky, some of them. So while we were in Festival of Quilts, we had a quiet spell on the last day, and I thought, oh, we've got some exploded balls of wool, I'll go buy some crochet hooks. And they came in colours, so I thought, I'll go with that. I can put these in my bag, so I've always got one if I need one. And we had 3 of these packs come in just before Christmas, and I said to Linda, oh, I really like that. Guess what I had for Christmas? So I've got, it runs from a 2 to a 6 with the halves as well. We've got one left. So go on the website. I think it's on the website. If not, give me a ring. We've got one left, but we can always order them for you. They're a Knit Pro, and they're really nice to use. You quite like using yours as well, don't you?
The Knit Pro,
yeah.
They're amazing.
She likes them. Okay, so we're going to start with the zing hooks, Claire, and why is it the ones that you use the most are always the most near colours? However, the 4 is a nice cobalt blue. It's lovely. But yeah, the 6 is like it's a purple.
Individually on the website as well, don't
We do. We have them individually on the website, and I think, do they go higher than a 6 on the website?
we? Yeah, I think
Yeah. So go have a look. If you like your crochet hooks, these are lovely to use. Okay. Now, what was overhead was 3, isn't it? Okay. So, this is, oh, what have I done? What have I done? I don't know what I've done.
Right?
Yeah, I just pressed something. Hang on, people. I need to check to see which way round I'm going. I think it's going this way. So, the actual sizing, they give you sizes on the pattern. Okay, you chain on 211 and it goes up. But you do it in multiples of 8 plus 3. Okay, then that's what makes the lacy work. So I've actually done a 24, 5, 6, 27 inch because I didn't know whether 16 was just too short. Okay, so I'm going to show you from casting on, and we're going to do the Happy New Year to you too, Karen. Right, so this is how I cast on. Alright, just make a lasso really and pull it on. I have no idea what these it's a slip knot. It's a lasso.
I like a lasso, that's a better word for it.
Okay. Have you seen my nice neat thingies? I've got one of those winder things, and I make cakes out of my balls so they're not all floppy like this. Okay, so what did I say we needed? 24, 25, 26, 27. So, however, we could do 16 because we'll go back onto this other one afterwards. 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm not very good at maths, okay? I don't know how far does that reach? Okay, so we're doing 17, 18, 19. I've got all this all wrapped round now. No, we're going that way. Okay, I always said I'd not do this again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and that makes my 2 8s, okay, and then 1, 2, 3, okay. So we're going to go in the 3rd stitch from the hook, okay, so which is going to be 1, 2, 3. 3rd from the hook, yeah, 3rd from the hook. That makes sense now. So 1, 2, 3. Now you can do this all different ways. I always go in on the knobbly bit on the top, which can be a bit faffy sometimes, but I like the finish on the bottom. However, oh no, you don't. It is a finished top. I just prefer the finish. It's just something I saw and quite liked. So we're going in 3rd from the hook, and we're going to yarn round in the knobble, and you're going to so through, yarn over, pull through, and then you're just going to immediately pull through the 2nd or your 1st, so you're left with 2. Does that make sense? I'll show you again. And then you go pull, yarn over, pull through 2. So yarn over in the stitch, yarn over, pull through, then immediately pull through the first stitch that you had, which is your yarn over, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, in the stitch, pull through, carry on through, yarn over, pull through 2.
That's really cool, so I've not seen that done before.
It works lovely. It
Yeah.
gives that real,
It's going to give a slightly shorter stitch and a half treble,
yeah,
isn't
it gives you more of a, it's not quite as deep as a half treble
Yeah.
where you pull through all the 3. I've lost it now. What have I
Sorry.
done? No,
Flash out.
it's okay. There we are. Pull through. It doesn't take a lot to get me wondering what I'm doing. Okay, so yarn over, through your stitch. It's a lot easier when you get onto your second row. Pull through, carry on through, yarn over, pull through 2. I've got yarn bowls at home. I've got some beautiful yarn bowls. I just use it to store my half-finished hats. Right. So, we're getting the picture. What's the good news? Oh, excellent. Sorry, I only read your first sentence, Karen. That is really, really good news. It's a wonderful way to start off your 2022. Can't believe we're already on day 6. Right, so yarn over, in the stitch, yarn over, pull through, carry on through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this. So did you all have a lovely Christmas? I'm sure you've all told Sarah already how your Christmases went. Ours was very quiet. The girls my 2 little uns seemed quite happy with all that they had from Father Christmas. It was very quiet though. But it was all family, so which was cool. So we're going through here, and then of course New Year on our time hop. We've been there because we spend quite a bit of time together, me and Sarah. So we our time hops are coming up with previous New Year parties, and the New Year parties that we used to do were all fancy dress, and it's always been a real raucous affair, but we've not done that. Right, one of the things that me as a crocheter, I don't count very often, and my straight sides never stay straight, okay, because I'm always missing that last stitch. And Sarah spent years telling me that I have to keep counting, and I have to keep use stitch markers. Do you know what? Bloody works. But don't tell her I said that, okay? So I've got to the end. Now I've started liking doing my chain 2 at the end and then turn it, okay? Now I forgot to add bring some stitch markers, so I'm going to pinch them from here. Have you? Oh, hang on a minute. Sarah had her booster yesterday. She's a little bit poorly. So we're going to stick the stitch marker in that last bit there, okay? So that when you come to the end, you know where you're going. And I should have put one in here. Let's do that because I'll be able to find that one easier. Okay, so at the end, it's there. like that. So that way, when you're coming back along, you're going to find it. And can you see, oh no, I've put it in the wrong end. Hang on. Okay, so put it in that side. There. Because if you don't do it as you're going, that you tend to lose them as you get towards the end, you lose it. Now this is what I mean about the end. By going in through the knobbles, I get a nice finish. I was finding that by just going in through one of the others, I was getting very loopy ends because I'm not a very tight knitter, so it makes me happy. So right, we have now chained our 2 and we're coming back along. Okay, so you chain the 2 and you're just going to repeat the same bit, and this poncho, that's all it is. So I've not gone in this first one where my chain is. I'm going to go in the next one. Okay, so you've got your V's on the top. You're going to go through, you should have 2 strands when you go through. Yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to go through and then through the 2. Okay, so you can see how faster it goes like this. So yarn over, through your stitch, pull through, and then you've got 2 on the stitch. So we're going through, pull through 2, like that, yarn over, through the stitch, pull through, carry on through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so you just keep going like this. Now you can see why I only did the 16. We could have probably have got away with just doing the 8. Okay, so what else have you lot been saying? Oh yeah, the booster is, I mean, it knocked me for 6, it really did. And of course I had mine on my holiday, so I didn't even get a sick day.
Does that count? Partially working?
Partially working. It's just like having flu, and I mean I didn't have any problems with the 2 AstraZeneca that I had. And the pain in your arm, how does that tiny needle make your arm hurt so much?
Oh, I googled it last night because you were asking about it.
Yeah.
And it's all to do with the fact that even though it's a tiny needle, you're putting the fluid into the muscle, which creates a little allergic reaction, and that's what causes the pain and stuff.
There we go. So we're coming up to the end. So you can see that stitch there. Now that's the one that I always considered to be my last stitch. But when you've done that last stitch that I used to think it was, you can see that your marker is down here somewhere. And I know that's my last stitch. So I took it in there, and you've got to go through there like that. Okay, now I've only gone through the 1 because I might need to go through the 2, Sarah Jane. There you go. I'll go through those 2 there and pull it through. So now I have the right amount. Okay, and then I would then chain 2 and work my way along. Okay, so we're going to presume that I've done this amount. Alright, and it just gives that definition. There's a bit of a pattern. I quite like it in this cream, but doing it with it, I would go up to an 8. If I was doing it in a chunky, I would do it with an 8, because you don't get that movement. You see with this one, you get a bit more of a movement, because there's, and you're doing it with a bigger hook, so you've got bigger holes. Alright, so we're going to try this pattern now, and I think it's a couple of rows pattern. Alright, so we're going to start off, you're putting it in the bottom, because we're now working, the top of your work now is going to be the bottom of the poncho. So we're working along this edge here, okay? I don't know about anybody else, but it's quite warm in here with your poncho on. No, with the poncho on. My neck is warm. Okay, so we're going to go to the pattern. So it's a really good pattern. It explains it quite well. So row 1, we're going to chain 3, which works as your 1 DC here, and throughout. Okay, so I will put the pattern up. Linda reminds me to put the pattern up when I get over there. So you're going to chain your 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to put my whatever that's called, my pin in there, my marker, stitch marker in there. Okay, then we're going to DC into the same stitch, okay, where I've been ignoring that first stitch all the way along. I think it just depends on what you do. Some people will ignore this as the first stitch, but I've always counted it as the first stitch. So we're going to go, it's a double crochet, so yarn over, into the stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, now I think if it's a double crochet, it's an American pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, it's arm treble.
Yeah, so it's our treble, so this is an American pattern. I just tend to use whatever, and I think your brain switches over after a while. So we've done our chain, we've done 1 double crochet, we're going to chain 1 and do another double crochet in the same hole. So yarn over, through the hole, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so you've got your first it's a half for one of them. Okay, one of your shells, your lacy shells, and then we're going to go where are we in the then you're gonna skip 3, you're going to chain 1, which locks the stitch. I don't know if I'm moving. Okay, and then we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then in this next stitch we're going to put a single crochet. So you're going to go in there, into the hole, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through 2. So all that's done is anchored it. Okay, then we're going to yarn over, skip 3, chain 1. Did I chain 1? No, I didn't. And then you're going to chain 1. Follow the pattern. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put a lacy one in here. Now they do explain on your, they give you your stitch explanations. So a lacy shell is double crochet, 1, 2, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2. Now your chain 2 makes it a bigger hole. You're going to work into it that in a bit, and then 2 more double crochet, single crochet. There we go. So you've done 2 double crochets with a single crochet, single chain in between. So you do 2 with a single chain in between, then 2 chains, and then double. This is why I don't do crochet, because it's explaining it. Double crochet, single chain, double crochet, then you're going to end that with a chain like that, which takes you over. The whole point of these, skipping the stitches, is that you've now got your 3 stitches here with your double crochet and your chain. It makes the 3 stitches that you're going to miss. Okay, and then you're going to go in that hole there and do a single crochet and repeat all the way along, and we'll see whether I counted right, because we'll see whether it works. Okay, I get further and further away. So 1, 2, 3, and in there, and we're going to do this, and chain, double crochet, and chain 2. So what we got coming up, we've got Hochanda on Saturday. Sarah's at Hochanda, and then we're at Newark next weekend. Oh, there was something I was going to tell you. What was I going to tell you when I came over? We got Newark next weekend, so Thursday we will be travelling, and then we'll do the 1 o'clocks from there. So the 1 o'clocks next week is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then we'll do things from the shows then, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then I've done a chain there, so I'm going to put a single in there. So yeah, we'll catch you up. We'll show you all the things going on at the shows, and we'll walk you around there. 1, 2, 3, and then in there. Now I seem to be 1 too many. So what I'm going to do, where go down to the end, so the last 4 stitches, chain 1, skip 3, right, so I should be here. That should be my last stitch. So I'm going to fudge this rather than pull it all out. I'm going to fudge this, and I'm going to skip 4 this time. I'm going to go into my final stitch here. In the last stitch. There we go. I'm going to go into this last stitch by here, so I'm going to make sure that I go into the V bit. I'm going to go double crochet to over in there. I'm going to do a double crochet like that, and we're only doing a half shell here, so it'll be 1 DC, chain 1, then 2 DC. Okay, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so you can see now we've done, let's take that out there, we've done our lacy thingies. Okay, so we've got 2 half ones on the end and then 2 in the middle, because we've got 24 on this one. I have to take this off, getting a little warm. Okay, so there's actually 4 rows I think on this to do. So the next one is your V stitches. Now a V stitch is a double crochet, chain, double crochet, so that when it'll fan, okay, but the fan the other way. So any questions? What's at Newark? Newark is like a very small Malvern. It's the same people that run Malvern, so it's all sorts of different stalls like us. But yeah, it's like a small Malvern, Susie. I'm sure, Jean, there must be one out there. I use a Sarah. If I don't understand something, I ask her, you know, rather than a computer program. It works just as well. So I'm going, I'm chaining 1 on this one, and we're going to do a single crochet in the same stitch that you've just done that chain. Okay, so that anchors that there. So you've chained 1 to go up and then put a single crochet in there, and then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to put a V-stitch in the top of your single crochet, which is your anchor stitch there. Okay, I'm going to go in here. We had a lady in the shop today asking if we're going to do another crochet along.
Yes, we will be.
So there you go, we will be.
But I did say I'm not going to run them at the same time as the quilts.
No, I don't think anybody could keep up, let alone you. Right, put a V-stitch in there, then you're going to chain 2 and put your single crochet in this double crochet here. So you're just going to go into the chain space and anchor it with your single crochet. Okay, and then 1, chain 2, oh, and then you're going to go along to where you had your anchor single crochet here, and we're going to put another V-stitch in there. So it's double crochet, and there. Don't talk about anything too personal because they can all hear you. Okay? And then like that, and then we're going to chain 2 and we're going to put single crochet in there just to anchor it down. Alright, and then chain 2 and put a V-stitch in there. So double crochet, I'm getting further and further. I do this at home as well. I move my crochet, I have to keep bringing it back. Well, it's ET arms rather than ET fingers. Okay, and there. And then you're going to chain 2 and you're going to put your single crochet in that last stitch there. I didn't put my marker in. Did anybody tell me I've missed my marker? So we're going to put that there. Okay, so where were we here? So there. There. So that's our last stitch there. Like that. Okay. So this one, the next one, you chain 1. Have I bored you to tears yet? So you can see that, I mean, this starts to pull itself apart after a while, and you can see the lacy stitch. It's worked better, I think, on here. I think probably because I've used the 6 on a double knit. It gives it that more fluid. And if I actually blocked stuff, this would all stretch quite nicely. So we've done this row, okay, and we've done this row. So we're now going to put our lacy shell into our V-stitch, okay, and then you're going to anchor it in the middle. So we've chained 1 and we're going to do another single crochet in that stitch there. Okay, so I'm going to find my as a dot. I'm going to put that in there. Alright. Okay, so what am I doing now? One thing in there, and then we're going to put a lacy shell. So you've got to chain one, and then we're going to put a lacy shell in this V-stitch. See my V-stitch? So 2 double crochet with a chain in between, like that, and then we're going to chain 2 like that, and then 2 double crochet with a chain in between, like that. Okay, there we go, like that. And then we are going to use this chain, this anchor stitch here. We're going to use that. So we've got a chain 1, chain 1, and then a single crochet in there. Okay. The lacy stitch, yeah, is pretty standard, I think. But the herringbone, I really enjoyed the herringbone, and I think it would make a nice scarf. It would give you that extra thickness on a scarf, or a blanket on your bed would be quite nice. So we're going to go through and chain 2. Okay, I'm going to try and do this a little bit faster. So chain 2 there. Let's put another 2 in there. I'm not a fast crocheter. I'm quite consistent, and I enjoy it. It's like dancing with your fingers. That's what I feel. So doing that there. And 1, 2, chain 2. So I go on holiday. I've got a holiday booked beginning of February. We're going to Cornwall, which I'm very, very much looking forward to now. I was a little, we were going to go to the Maldives, and I was a little bit disappointed that we weren't going there. But we're staying not far from Mousehole, which means that there's some beautiful beaches around there, and I'm really looking forward to it now. So you can see now you've got this this lacy thing going on. One more row, and then you repeat, I think. No, you don't. There's 5 rows. But you see the point. The next one now is you're doing the V-stitch, and it's just a repeat of what we've been doing. So you would chain 3 and do chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn it that in there. Now this seems a little laborious because we're doing 24 stitches and I was doing 219 before, so it becomes more of a fluid thing because you get into a rhythm, don't you? So with this one you do 1 DC in the same hole as the other one, like that, okay, and you chain 3, oh no, chain 2, like that, chain 2, and then you're going to do a single crochet in there, in the chain 2, and then you chain 2, yes, it's a V-stitch in there, okay, like that. like that, and then chain 2 and anchor that in there. So you see, you're just recreating then the V-stitch coming up, so you can see where your your shells are just moving over and so your V-stitch go like that. So you would just keep repeating all of that until you've got 5 inches. Okay, there's a 5-inch on the bottom. You could do more if you wanted to. And that is herringbone. I seem to be moving over a little bit, but I think that would sort itself out with a bit of blocking. There you go. Thank you, Jean. I think it's pretty cool. Where are we going there? See, getting all warm and flustered. Put it all up here. You could fry an egg on that bit. Okay, so that is herringbone and lacy stitch. I'm going to leave it there. I think 40 minutes of me going yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 is a bit much. So we'll be back next week. Don't forget Sarah's on Hochanda on Saturday. What time? 5 and 9, isn't it?
Yeah.
5 and 9. Well, at least that's not too stupid o'clock leaving.
Stupid o'clock getting home though.
It is stupid o'clock getting home.
3.5 hours back. That's going to be up at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't hit any traffic. It's funny how the traffic only ever comes out for Sarah. I tend to go straight through. It's either that or I listen to better books than she does, and I don't care if we get stuck. I look forward to all your ponchos. I'm going to go and have my cheese and biscuits because I is posh like that, and put this link up for you, and we shall see you next week. Okay, take care, love ya. Should prime this first. Ta-da!